Good blessed this Sunday afternoon, December the 3rd, 2023, the time being 1:50 p.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you are the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't even matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. Doesn't matter whether you like me, anything I say or do. That's your prerogative. You have that right. The Constitution to the United States give you that right. Hey now.
Howdy, mate.
When you get through, I know you got too many other ones. Just drop it off here. I can pay the taxes and everything on it.
All right, I'll do that.
All right, love you, family, love you. You have a right to the United States Constitution, freedom of speech. 14th, the First and the 14th Amendment. You have a Fifth Amendment to remain silent. You know, don't remain silent when God gave you something to say. But what I want to talk about, first I want to thank God for allowing that Crown Vic over there, a 23-year-old car, to get me and my youngest daughter all the way to Birmingham, Alabama. Through rain, storms, through lightning, through fog, to get down there and then come back the same day. That's a little over, I believe, 500 miles, 8 hours up, 8 hours back. I thank God for allowing the plane that transported my brother West, Big West, may he rest in peace, his oldest daughter, Sharika, and his oldest granddaughter. I thank God for Amani and Sharika to be able to get on that plane, get down to Birmingham, Alabama, because all four of us had a mission. Me, Bertie, Amani, and Sharika, we had a mission down there in Birmingham, Alabama. We didn't even know it was going to go the way it did, but I thank God for the plane to be able to stop. I thank God for us to be able to go pick them up from the airport, go to the home going, go to the hotel and hit back, and all of us done made it back safe. But I can't let it go without telling y'all about the individual that was selected to do my nephew's service. You see what I'm saying? Whoever just rolled past, they shaking their head because they don't like me making my video, but this is my video, and I just told you got a First and a 14th Amendment right. I'm on my property. Shake your head if you want to. You can dance, whatever, but I'm going to keep on talking. I talk because I know the people that don't like to hear me talk, they out in the world starting chaos, especially in the black community. But anyway, let's get back to the message at hand. Satan always try to disturb me, but he can't. I know my hand's too short to box with him, but God got some powerful spiritual people. It's because it's spiritual warfare to get them out of my way. But let me tell you about this preacher. Now, we get there, the service supposed to have been at 2 o'clock, then it went to from 10, then it went to 11. But me and my daughter, my youngest daughter, and my niece and my great niece, all of us made it there early. And in the parking lot, I seen some of my nephew, may he rest in peace, some of his real friends. Some of his real friends was out there in the parking lot. And I'm talking about it was a lot of white people out there. And Alabama showed me some, even Mississippi, when we went through West Point and other parts of Mississippi, it showed me, I always look at Mississippi and Alabama as being somewhere present, but I found some good white people down there, especially at my nephew's home going. But you know, when we was out there talking, they was telling me how one of them was a coach of a football and basketball, and my nephew, may he rest in peace, was his assistant coach, and how much love he had for my nephew. He was one of my nephew's bosses. My nephew did houses, and he did a good job. But anyway, it was an individual out in the parking lot with a trench coat that you probably seen back in the 1950s. And I told my niece and great niece and my daughter and them, I said, I bet you that's the preacher, the way he was dressed, with the one who proclaimed to be a preacher. But the moral of my story is this individual was the preacher. And one of the first things he told me, now he walking around, the service ain't even started. He walking around the whole church, everywhere else, with a baseball-like cap on. I had my little cap on. Sitting there all the way in the back of the church. I could sit all the way in the back so Satan, if he gonna fool around with somebody before he make it to me, he'll think twice and go somewhere. The first thing he came to me, let me talk to you for a minute. When the service starts, you could take, I need you to take off your cap. I said, I'll do that right now. You see what I'm saying? I started to ask him when he was going to take his out. But soon when he told me that, a white guy walked past going up to look at the body with a baseball cap on. You see what I'm saying? Ain't said nothing. But I didn't let that bother me. It bothered my daughter. But I told her, peace, be still. But anyway, now, he also came around me and my nieces, my niece and great niece and my youngest daughter, and he was giving out this card. Y'all remember that number? Y'all remember that face? You remember this person? Everybody that say they a preacher is not necessarily a preacher. Now, the things that he was doing before he even got up in the pulpit, I didn't see him as being no preacher. Anybody can say they're a preacher. Satan know the Bible. But let me tell you about this individual calling himself a preacher. First, I got a call and asked me about a scripture to read at my great nephew's funeral or homegoing. So I told him Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, 1 through 8. The next day I got the call. My pastor said, is you a preacher? No, I'm not a preacher. I'm an ambassador of Jesus Christ. You see, I'm an ambassador of God, and an ambassador is a high-ranking agent of God. I don't have to be no preacher to read a scripture nowhere on the face of this earth. The only one that don't want to hear scripture from me is Satan. But anyway, she said, well, do you sing? Do you play the piano or the organ? No, I don't do none of that. I bring people in. I get them out of darkness. But anyway, this man got up here and supposed to have been given a eulogy. He had his wife give an introduction to him. He said, well, I'm going to have a person give an introduction to the speaker. And he the speaker now. Then he said, that person is none other than my wife. Oh, she got up there and she said, well, let me tell you, we first met in kindergarten. You see, to me, it didn't make no difference that she met him in pre-K or Head Start, because I don't want to know where you met him at. I want to know what you got to say about my nephew that's laying in the casket. You didn't say very much about him, but you told us about your history. And then here it is, white people that was there, that was real respectful, supporting even one of my nephew bosses. Real respectful people. All us was sitting in the back. I ain't gonna even say that, but all us was sitting in the back. And the pastor, he got to sending giving all of them his business cards. I guess he was trying to promote himself, but he said something that made a lot of people go walking out of there. This man laid here and said, he telling people, all right now, Queen. He said it's a sin to take the COVID shot. Whether a person take the COVID shot or not, that's their prerogative. I don't take it, but I don't look down on my friends or family, anybody else to take it, because that's their prerogative. Then he got to talking about ethnic cleansing. Then he got to talking about white people, and these white people sitting in here, but yet he made a statement saying the church, after I got up and spoke, which I didn't say nothing disrespectful, but I said a person of God can read a scripture or quote the Bible any place on the face of this earth. And I wanted to say, even in your church, but I think he felt the message that I gave. But he laid here talking bad about the white people was there, and they got to walking out, and they was more supported than him and some of the other people that's kin to my nephew. But what really bothered me about him, he came and asked my niece, who live in the southwest suburbs of Chicago, but it don't make no difference where she live. He asked her, where you from? She said, Chicago. He said, the suburbs of the hood. Now, what type of question is that? But we know where he was from. When I first seen him before the service even started, I detected him as being the so-called preacher. But then your words, so you can tell a fool when the words come out of their mouth. You see, I don't need this all the time. Most people that know me, they probably don't know me from the past. They probably think my 357 magnet is inside of here. But it's something even more powerful. It's 66 books that'll knock fire from any evil that's on the face of this earth. But let me tell you about this man. This man, to me, he disrespected my niece, my great niece, me, and my youngest daughter. He disrespected my nephews. All right now, he disrespected my nephew. May he rest in peace. Jeremy J. Rock Ivy. He disrespected J. Rock Ivy's son, my nephew, my great nephew, Mike. And he disrespected anybody that had respect for my nephew and my great nephew, because you disrespected his friends. And then your eulogy had nothing to do about him with him. To me, and I told some people, to me, he looked like he's somebody that smoked rocks. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because he was missing in action when the people was waiting to come in. We didn't march in with the family. We sat in the back. Me and my niece and great niece and my youngest daughter, we sat in the back, and a whole bunch of other people. Even my great nephew, he was even sitting in the back. He didn't even want to sit up front. I think he had the spirit of the man that was going behind that pulpit. And then he had two mics, one with his loud singing individual that was playing the organ and singing, and the one in his mouth that he had. And then when he had people to come up on the little podium that's not up there where he at, when they get up there to speak, it didn't even work. And when he said if anybody had anything to say, I was the first one went up there. And he said, oh, you can use this. And I let him know. I said, this don't work. But I said, I speak loud enough. And my words tore him up, because after everybody got through, he said, I want y'all to know this is a church. You know why he said that? Because I gave honor to all them white people and the blacks that was there before anybody else came, when we was waiting for somebody to come in. We even helped brought the casket in, because it was two people that wasn't able to, that brought the casket in a van, not in a hearse, but in a van. I ain't never seen that before. But we helped them, white and black, we helped them get the casket onto the little thing that you roll and get it in the church. But see, what hurt him was when I said at the end that I and any other person of God, a Christian, can quote or read a scripture anywhere they want to be, unless they're in one of them other countries where they don't allow it. But if y'all say that man a preacher, you're lying, the truth ain't in him. You see, one thing about the Bible said, how can you hear without a preacher? You see, the people wasn't hearing what he was saying, because what he was saying, he was talking about slavery and everything else. Everybody walked out. I'm going to leave it at this here. I'm hoping this get back down to Alabama. Y'all share with the preacher. You share with anybody else that don't like what I'm saying. And I'm going to tell them this here. Get thee behind me, Satan, and peace be still.